Warning, the following video contains spoilers about Daredevil, as well as me talking a lot of smack about a certain DC film that has a very dedicated, die-hard fan base. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the comments on this one. Hi there folks, and welcome to my spoiler-filled discussion of Netflix's Daredevil. And in case you guys missed it, I already did a review, in which I just spoke incredibly positively about this show because I love it. But you can check that out right there. That is my spoiler-free review. This, however, is my spoiler-filled discussion of it. Okay, this is me getting more in-depth. This is me talking about some of the things I had problems with on the show that I couldn't quite talk about in the previous one because it gave things away, as well as talking about many of the things I love about it. Not as much as I did in the last one, because most of the things that I loved about, you don't need spoilers for that. But okay, let's talk about a couple of those things I absolutely love that I couldn't talk about in the spoiler-free review. And by the way, if you didn't see the spoiler-free review, I'll just let you guys know right now, I cannot remember the names of actors to save my life. Alright? So I will just be referring to everybody in here by their character names because I've known those characters' names for decades because I've been reading their stories. Alright? But the acting in here is amazing. I love the acting in this, and probably my favorite line that anyone gave, my favorite little snippet that I have to praise it again. It was when the Chinese mob boss, the one who was overseeing all the heroin, was talking to Wilson Fisk, and she was just calling him out, just talking about how far he had fallen, and basically was like, yeah, you gotta clean your house and get back together. And she was just leaning over this towering man, and I was leaning back in my seat, okay? It was amazing, that one line. And another thing that I absolutely love about this show, I love that it feels like New York. And one of the things that makes it feel like New York is that when somebody comes from some place that doesn't speak English, they're not speaking English. I love that this show respected its audience enough to go, we're going to put subtitles in this, alright? No one is speaking English unless it would make sense for them to speak English, alright? Okay, I just had to point that out. But another performance in here that I absolutely loved was everyone. But Ben Urich specifically. The guy playing Ben Urich nailed it. Just nailed it and gave so much depth to that character. And I love what they did with his wife in here because it gave so much backstory to him. It did not make him just a two-dimensional character. And when he dies in here, it hit me because I did not think they were going to do that. I really did not think that they were going to pull that off because he is such a big character to the Daredevil universe, but I understand the Kingpin has to take things away from them. He has to go, this is getting really personal. And so he can't kill off Daredevil. I mean, he's the main guy. And he can't kill off Foggy and Karen. So the next highest up character is Ben. And when that happened, man, it was a gut punch. Same thing goes for when the little old lady living in the apartment building died. I mean, she was such a minor character and she still moved the plot ahead so much. I was loving watching the relationship between her and Karen develop and how she was kind of pushing Karen and Foggy together as friends and helping their development grow. That's another thing that I gotta point out. The way that characters interact in here, god damn, it's so good. The way that this show has characters moving the story of other characters ahead because it makes this whole world feel real. It makes this whole world feel three-dimensional. It makes everyone feel like they're a real person and like they're interacting with each other. It doesn't make any character feel like they are there just to support the main character of Matt Murdock. Every little minor character that comes in, they help to move other characters ahead who aren't necessarily the main characters. Like Foggy's ex-girlfriend, who's working at this competing law firm, when she comes in and she is helping Foggy, she goes through a character arc within the span of 15 minutes. Within the span of 15 minutes, she's like, you see that she is not just some joke. She is not just some two-dimensional character. She comes in and grows in just a scene that's that big. It is so impressive. And she helps to push Foggy ahead. Foggy helps to push her ahead. And once again, minor character. And yet it still is moving the other characters around. It really makes this whole world feel like everyone is out there living their lives and they're all being affected by the Kingpin. It is so good. I love that the story of this has weight on each of these characters that, yes, this show is dark. It is really dark. And my biggest pet peeve is when someone is dark just to be dark. When someone thinks that serious means have everyone speak in monotone and just shoot everything with a blue filter on, okay? That drives me nuts. That is not serious. That is what someone who doesn't understand a serious story thinks a serious story is. This show understands, alright, when weight is put on these characters, they respond to it. And the main scene that I'm talking about is when Karen ends up shooting Wilson Fisk's assistant, which, by the way, who saw that coming? Oh my god! I was not expecting that to happen. But when that happens, I love that that isn't resolved. I love that that is still out there, and that is clearly something that is going to weigh on her character. And it happens towards the end of the show, but I love seeing, in just those last couple episodes, how much it weighs on her. And the final thing that Matt says to her is just, yeah, there's something in your voice. Something is there. I was hoping it would get better, but what is it? What do you want to talk about? And you can tell, it's like, yeah, we just had this big fight scene with Daredevil and the Kingpin, and it looks like he's behind bars and everything is fine now. But no, she's messed up. Something happened to her. She went through an experience. I love that because it makes me think back to Man of Steel. I'll admit, I did not like Man of Steel at all. I really didn't. And one of the things that I did not like about it is that that was one of those movies that was like, we're going to be serious. We're going to take superheroes seriously. And it had no idea how to do that. And at the end of that movie, when Superman kills Zod, literally the next scene, he's like, hey everybody, everything is fine. Alright, I'm going to go and work at the Daily Planet now, which is fully rebuilt. By the way, I also love that in this, it still shows that New York is kind of a shithole because of the Chitauri attack from Avengers. I love that that has an impact. But seeing in this, seeing the trauma that she goes through, seeing the impact that that has on her character, I was like, that's how it's done. You do not have somebody do something that traumatic and then have them be perfectly fine, have it have no impact on them. I thought that was handled incredibly well. And continuing on with the drama of this and just how dark this gets, I mentioned in my spoiler-free review that I had some problems with how dark it went. Like, when the Kingpin liquefies a dude's skull, yeah, I had a problem with quite how graphic they got in that, but I'm glad that they did. And once again, this goes into what I think makes for good dark and serious versus bad dark and serious. That served a purpose. When the Kingpin did that, it was to send a message, it was to put a piece out there in this big chessboard he was working to move all the other gangs around and have them unify around something. Or like when it came to the two Russian brothers, and it showed their backstory and the way that they got out of prison by just taking the bones out of a dead guy and using them to get out. Yeah, that is super dark. That is super dark and gritty. However, it's trying to set up how someone could reach as low as they are, how somebody could go through a trauma in their life that would make them such despicable characters. And yeah, that actually worked for me. It wasn't like, and once again, I don't mean to pick on it, but it is, to me, the big poster boy for doing dark and serious very poorly. It's not like in Man of Steel, where all of a sudden Clark Kent is drowning in a pit of skulls, alright? That is not dark and serious. That is just something out of a teenager's heavy metal notebook, alright? This right here, you see the trauma that these two brothers are going through while they're in this prison, even though it's only one scene. And knowing the depths they had to go through to get out of that, it says so much about their characters throughout the rest of the series. It gives great backstory on their personalities. However, speaking of characters killing other characters, there is something that I have a problem with in this show. And that is that throughout this whole thing, Matt Murdock is going, I don't know if I can kill the Kingpin. I don't know if I can kill Wilson Fisk, but I think I have to. I think I have to do that. And it's a lot about his internal struggle with that, which is great. I mean, those scenes with him and the priest, oh my god, the story that the priest tells about how he knows the devil is real, man, that was stunning. But they go into a lot of detail about, oh, I don't know if I can cross that line, I don't know if I can come back after I cross that line. Matt is kind of indirectly responsible for two people dying in this, and that never comes up. And yeah, that was a big problem that I had with this. That is something that drove me nuts while watching this. Yeah, there's the one homeless junkie guy who Daredevil beats the living crap out of. and then just goes, "Go turn yourself in." And then later he hears that the junkie jumped off of the roof and liquefied himself right after that. I was like, okay, maybe the Kingpin's guys threw him off of that building. Maybe that's what happened, and that's why he's dead. But it really seems to me like that's not what happened. It really seems to me like the dude was just so scared of Daredevil that he killed himself. Yeah, man, maybe you went a little too far on that one. Or there's another scene in which he is fighting Nobu. He's fighting the Hand. He's fighting a ninja from the Hand. It's a red-clad ninja, which was a nice little thing that they threw in there. But he's fighting him, and gasoline gets on the floor, and then he throws his billy club at the lights, creates a spark, and then it lights up the gasoline at his feet, and it kills Nobu. Hi there folks, sorry for the interruption, but I just want to jump in real quick because what I was about to say was that in this fight scene, Daredevil ended up throwing his billy stick into the light, causing sparks to light up the gasoline at Nobu's feet, basically killing him, and I had a huge problem with the fact that they never acknowledged this. That I had a problem with the fact that this whole thing was a struggle for Matt about whether or not he should cross the line of murder, and he basically ended up murdering Nobu, and he never once acknowledged this. However, I went back and rewatched this because I really did not want to be wrong about this. And guess what? I was wrong about this. When I went back and watched it again, what actually happened, and it happens really quick, so I understand why I was confused by it, but what actually happened was that Nobu threw his chain sickle at Daredevil. Daredevil reflected it with his billy club, and then the chain sickle flew back and just happened to hit the light. Daredevil wasn't aiming for it, he didn't do it on purpose, so yes, Nobu dies, and it was through an action of Daredevil, but this was definitely not murder. However, at the same time, I do wish that they had brought up. I do still hold that complaint that I wish it had come up because Daredevil did not murder this guy, but the guy did die as a result of a fight with Daredevil. And while Daredevil didn't do it on purpose, he did kind of play a bit of a hand in this guy's murder. So I wish that at some point he had kind of thought about that, reflected on it, said, okay, I've been considering whether or not I should kill Wilson Fisk, and now I've gotten really close to it. I kind of almost did it, not quite, so that gives me a lot to think about. I really wish it had come up at some point. Alright, sorry for the interruption, guys. Let's get back to the video now. Also, Daredevil is a little bit too rough with the criminals. It's like I said, I know that this was getting gritty, alright, and I fully accepted that. But when he's constantly trying to find people, and he is just beating them senselessly and going, where are they? I was like, how do you not know that you're ripping off Christopher Nolan's Batman right now? Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Christopher Nolan's Batman has a copyright over the phrase, where are they? But that has been referenced and parodied and joked about so much, someone should have stepped in and been like, maybe we shouldn't do this every 2 episodes, or this is drawing similarities between our Batman and their Batman. Also, and this part isn't necessary, I thought the show ended at a very good point. I really liked where it ended. But at the same time, I'm not gonna lie, you could have ended that thing with a teaser for Bullseye, alright? You needed some kind of a teaser, some kind of a, hey, stick around for season 2, alright? You could have had Vanessa Fisk calling up some assassin and, you just see some guy with a bullseye on his forehead, alright? Give us something, alright? But in the end, I wasn't kidding when I said that I absolutely love this, that I believe that this raises superhero TV shows to a brand new level. That this came in and basically went, this is how you do serious and dark the correct way. This is how it's done. I mean, I'm not trying to build up a whole war between the Marvel and DC cinematic universe here, but it's very clear that DC was coming in saying, no, our cinematic universe is going to be serious, it's going to be grounded, it's going to be real. And it's like Marvel didn't really have anything for them to compete with you on that level with. They do now, so you better bring your A game. And one last final thought. Marvel, you can't wait until your other TV shows are done to give us season 2 of this, alright? That's the big rumor that everybody's saying, is that they're not going to have season 2 of this until we get Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and the Defenders TV shows out of the way. I'm not waiting 5 years for season 2 of this, okay? If you gotta push that Iron Fist show back, so be it, and that is coming from a #1 Iron Fist fan here, okay? We need season 2 of this, and season 2, I absolutely love what you did with this by making it more realistic, by not really playing up the supervillain side, but as I said, Bullseye. Also, Elektra. I love that you guys put in that little hint there, like, oh, that Greek girl in college. We need to see that Greek girl from college. There's so many other things about this that I want to talk about, but I would be here all night. And if I think of one that I definitely wanted to talk about, then I will make a little edit at the end of this video in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Am I still here? I am? Okay, then I guess I didn't want to say anything else. But okay, thank you guys for watching this video, and thank you guys for watching the previous video if you did. If you didn't, then go ahead and watch it now. It's right there in that box. But if you like this video, please hit that subscribe button. I do geeky things all the time on this video, talking about comics, movies, video games. So stick around, watch some more of the videos. And also, if you like this one, share it. Spread it around the internet. Spread my crazy rantings wherever you might think someone will enjoy it. And I want to know what you guys thought about the Daredevil TV show. Leave that in the comments below. Actually, leave that in the comments on that one, because I have a weird feeling like most of the comments in this one are going to be people who are fans of Man of Steel just being very ticked off. Which, hey, you like that movie, so you're entitled to call me an idiot. There's like 9 comments down there that are calling me an idiot right now, aren't there? Alright, anyway, bye everybody.